Ciao Amici, mi chiamo Savannah. I'm in Italy right now, so that's kind of why I'm speaking Italian to you guys. But today I'll be reading Proverbs, and we'll see how far we can get. I don't have an exact number that I'm trying to reach, but maybe more than 3. And then I'll go over what I learned on Sunday, or today, from my church's live stream. Like I said, I'm in Italy, so my home church is in New York. So yeah, thanks for watching, and let's start. Proverbs 1:1, Purpose and Theme. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to those who are simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Prologue, extortions to embrace wisdom. Warning against the invitation of sinful men. I actually get my highlighter to better understand. Warning against the invitation of sinful men. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your neck, and a chain to adorn your neck. They are a garland to grace your head, and a chain to adorn your neck. My son, if sinful men entice you, do not give in to them. If they say, come along with us, let's lie in wait for innocent blood, let's ambush some harmless soul, let's swallow them alive like the grave, and whole, like those who go down to the pit. We will get all sorts of valuable things and fill our house with plunder. Cast lots with us. We will all share the loot. My son, do not go along with them. Do not set foot on their paths, for their feet rush into evil. They are swift to shed blood. How useless to spread a net where every bird can see it. These men lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush only themselves. Such are the paths of all those who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away the life of those who get it. Wisdom's rebuke. Out in the open, wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. On top of the wall, she cries out. At the city gate, she makes her speech. How long will you who are simple love your simple ways? How long will mockers delight in mockery, and fools hate knowledge? Repent at my rebuke. Then I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make known to you my teachings. But since you refuse to listen when I call, and no one pays attention when I stretch out my hand, since you disregard all my advice and do not accept my rebuke, I in turn will laugh when disaster strikes you. I will mock with calamity overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster sweeps over you like a whirlwind, when distress and trouble overwhelm you. Then they will call to me, but I will not answer. They will look for me, but they will not find me, since they hated knowledge, and did not choose to fear the Lord, since they would not accept my advice, and spurn my rebuke. They will eat the fruit of their ways, and be filled with the fruit of their schemes. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will live in safety, and be at ease, without fear for harm. Proverbs 2, moral benefits of wisdom. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless. for he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. Wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. Wisdom will save you also from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words, who have left the partner of her youth and ignored the covenant she made before God. Surely her house leads down to death, and her paths to the spirit of the dead. Now who go to her return, or none who go to her return or attain the paths of life. Thus you will walk in the ways of good, and keep to the paths of righteousness. For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it. Proverbs 3. Wisdom bestows well-being. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and good name in the sight of God and man. Trust the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim with new wine. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is the tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. By wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundations. By understanding he set the heavens in place. By his knowledge the watery depths were divided, and the clouds let drop the dew. My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. They will be life for you, and an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Have no fear of sudden disaster or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked, for the Lord will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to act. Do not say to your neighbor, "Come back and I'll give it to you," when you already have it with you. Do not plot harm against your neighbor who lives trustfully near you. Do not accuse anyone for no reason when they have done you no harm. Do not envy the violent or choose any of their ways, for the Lord detests the perverse, but takes the upright into his confidence. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. He mocks proud mockers, but shows favor to the humble and oppressed. The wise inherit honor, but fools get only shame. That was Proverbs 1-3, and I think that bestowed a lot of knowledge. I think every one of those verses has a deeper meaning than what is just told. And I'm reading from the New International Version Study Bible, and it has a lot of notes on the verses. This was given to me in my Crew Campus Crusade for Christ Club on my campus. It was a beautiful gift, and I use it a lot. So thanks for listening to that. I also want to go over my notes that I took. I made a lot of bullet points, just listening to Pastor Jared, the pastor's name. He was talking about emotional intelligence, how there's IQ, everybody knows that, but that really can't change. Like, it's what you're born with. You can try to change it a little bit. You can try to do like puzzles to get better at your intelligence quotient, but emotional quotient, you can always grow in that. And so scientific studies have also shown that emotional quotient, EQ, matters more than IQ, because it really impacts how you deal with like your personal relationships, your financial goals, like how you interact with people who impact your life, like your family, like your boss. If you have a good emotional quotient or great emotional intelligence, you really can go far in life. And so we look to God for guidance on that. So I'll just go over some of my notes. So it opened by saying not to just listen, but to respond to what is being said. I think the opening title was just, it showed a laundry basket filled with different colored shirts, and each shirt represented like a different emotion, like sadness, disgust, anger, sorrow, and like disgrace, and different emotions. And it was all a jumbled mess, like in a laundry basket. And so the whole thing was, we are a walking internal civil war, a constant mix of emotions. And as the pastor explained, there are no bad emotions. It's just when we let our emotions overtake us, when the feels take the wheel, as he said. So when that happens, we're letting our emotions become our God. We're letting them overrule us, and that is not good. That's not what the Lord wants for us. So instead, we look to Psalm 139. It says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts, and lead me to the path of righteousness." So this is us reaching out to God in times of struggle, of emotional struggle, saying, "Search me, O God. Let me know what is wrong, where these feelings are coming from, if they're correct or if they're not correct." You're leaving it in God's hand and giving him all your trust. And then he went on to explain even more why emotional intelligence matters. He said, if you can't lead yourself and understand yourself, you can't lead anybody. And I wrote down this was important to me personally, because motherhood, being a great mother to children, you have to know how to handle your emotions. Being a good wife to a husband, you have to know how to handle your emotions and know, even if you're having a bad day and everything's coming at you, you can't just snap at everybody and ruin relationships. And now, to be a good daughter, like, you have to know how to handle what comes at you and know that the people in your life, most of the time, and for me, all of the time, want the best for you. Like my mom and stepdad and my grandmother, they want the best for me, and sometimes I snap at them. And that's how I know that I have a lot of work to do. And I think it'll never be ending, the work that we all have to do to make our emotional intelligence greater and stronger. It's also fruit of the Spirit, made in the image of God. Psalm 139, 13 through 14. So God has emotions, and God is emotional. And the way that Pastor Jared described it is that emotions are a good thing. We are set apart from animals, and that we feel our emotions so strongly that they have an impact on our lives every day. They are a gift from God that show that we're not just robots going about our fulfilling tasks. We have emotions. We get to experience the fullness of life. And so that is the way that we're made in the image of God. But we also, from our sinful nature, we let our emotions override us. Sometimes we may be feeling extreme emotions like anger and emotions like envy, like we are jealous of somebody. I have it written down, emotions are not reality. You cannot let them become your God. Don't let your emotions overrule you. If you feel jealousy, acknowledge that, look internally, figure out why, but know that it's not godly or it's not good to act on those emotions. It's okay that you have the emotions because there's no bad emotions. It's just when you let them override you. And so the next part he went over was the heart. So in Hebrew, heart means the seat of emotions. So that's your heart is where you feel everything. And there's also the verse, Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart above all else. That is where we can receive the most sinfulness. That's where you can let envy overtake you. That's where you can let greed overtake you. So you have to guard your heart above all else. And then, let's see. This is another important point. Always be honest with yourselves. So if you're looking internally and you're saying in the moment, you're like, I feel deep hatred. I feel deep anger. Be honest with yourself. It's okay to admit that you're feeling those emotions. If you're not honest with yourself, how can you bring to light those problems and let the Lord heal you or help to heal you? So, for me personally, I just have to be honest with the Lord and give him all of what I'm feeling and let him help me decipher why I feel that way. I think an example that Pastor Jared was talking about was that when you feel like anger and you let it break through to other people around you, that is you like hiding it so long that it just burst out. Instead of feeling it in the moment and looking internally, I think his exact word was like, you don't always have to be in your feelings, but you do have to recognize when you feel extreme emotions, and if they're negative ones, why you feel that way. So that you can bring it to the Lord, pray about it, ask him the verse, search me, O God, and know my heart, test me and know my anxious thoughts. So you can say that and reflect on your emotions, and then also respond and work to fix it. I think the last point was looking behind you at what you leave behind and your the emotions that continue to pop up. So, I think the example was if you're on a boat, let's say you're driving a boat on the water, and it leaves behind a wake. The boat should leave behind a smooth wake where the waves are crashing over each other in a constant pattern. And if it doesn't do that, that means that the boat is broken or you're actually sinking. So your life is the boat, and what you leave behind is your wake. And in your wake, if you see patterns consistently forming, like if you feel constant regret, if you feel consistently guilty, if you feel consistently angry, and you see a pattern over a month, over 5 months, over years, you have to acknowledge it and respond and reflect. For me, I constantly feel regret, and I have to acknowledge that in myself and go back. And so another deep part of that is to not ignore criticism. If you get criticism from somebody, and it's good criticism, that it's coming from somebody that wants the best from you, don't ignore it. Look at what they're saying, look at what they're feeling, and acknowledge it. It may or may not be truthful, or it may be coming from a misunderstanding or a miscommunication, but it's better to err on the side of caution and reflect on yourself, and then bring all of those feelings to God, to the Lord our God. So yeah, that was my understanding of this sermon on emotional intelligence. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Buonasera.